Michael Johnson's league promised millions. Instead, it went bankrupt, owing $13 million. Olympic stars were left unpaid. Now a new plan says they will get almost everything back. But can this league really survive? Grand Slam track was supposed to change everything. When Michael Johnson announced the creation of a new professional track league, the vision sounded bold and necessary. Track and field had long struggled to create a consistent, athlete-centered professional structure outside of global championships. Johnson, a four-time Olympic champion and one of the most respected figures in the sport, positioned Grand Slam track as the solution. Big prize money, guaranteed contracts, a modern format built for television. The promise was stability, fairness, and star power. Instead, by December 2025, the league was in bankruptcy court. Grand Slam track filed for Chapter 11 protection after a catastrophic debut season that left more than $13 million in unpaid obligations. Athletes, vendors, and creditors were waiting for money that had been promised in writing. The sport that had hoped for a financial revolution was suddenly facing another painful collapse. Some of the biggest names in global track were affected. Olympic champion Gabby Thomas was owed prize money. Emmanuel Wanyonyi, one of the most exciting 800-meter runners in the world, was left waiting on payments. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, a generational hurdler, was tied to the project. Kenny Bednarek, one of America's top sprinters, was also among those impacted. These were not fringe athletes. These were headline names. For months, silence and uncertainty surrounded the league. Rumors spread about cash flow issues. Vendors complained privately. Athletes began speaking carefully about missed payments. The optimism of launch season gave way to frustration. Now, a new chapter begins. A reorganization plan has been submitted to United States Bankruptcy Court that aims to rescue the league and prioritize athlete payments above all else. The proposal hinges on a new ownership group, led in part by Michael Johnson himself, injecting more than $6.2 million into a reorganized version of Grand Slam track. Of that amount, $6 million is designated specifically for athletes. The numbers matter. According to court filings, athletes are still owed approximately $7 million. Under the new plan, they would recover about 85% of that remaining balance. For those who had already received 50% of their contracted earnings earlier, the total recovery would reach $13 million out of the $14 million originally promised. That equals a 92.9% recovery rate. In bankruptcy terms, that is strong. In human terms, it is complicated. Athletes train year-round. They build schedules around contracts. They rely on prize money to fund coaching, travel, medical care, and support teams. Missing payments disrupt careers. Even if most of the money is eventually recovered, the delay can cause damage that numbers alone do not capture. The proposed plan attempts to repair that damage. Michael Johnson and league president Steven Gerrard would remain in leadership roles under the reorganized structure. That continuity signals belief from the founders that the model can still work. But it also raises hard questions. Can the same leadership team that oversaw a $13 million shortfall convince athletes and sponsors to trust them again? The creditors now face a difficult choice: accept the restructuring plan and receive roughly 50 cents on the dollar for certain claims, or reject it and push the league toward liquidation. In a liquidation scenario, there is a real risk that creditors recover little to nothing. Bankruptcy law is unforgiving. Assets are limited. Legal costs add up quickly. For athletes, the restructuring offers a path to substantial recovery. For other creditors, it requires compromise. The global governing body World Athletics has added pressure to the situation. Officials have warned that it would be unconscionable for Grand Slam track to attempt a 2026 restart without fully settling all obligations. That statement carries weight. Without sanctioning and cooperation, organizing international competition becomes extremely difficult. The relationship between the league and the sport's governing structure will be crucial moving forward. If trust is not restored at that level, even a financially reorganized league could struggle to operate effectively. To understand how Grand Slam track reached this point, it is important to revisit its original mission. The sport of track and field has long depended on a patchwork system of meets. Diamond League events provide elite competition, but athletes often navigate complex qualification systems and inconsistent pay structures. Outside of major championships like the Olympics and World Championships, financial stability can be elusive. Johnson's idea was to create a centralized league with guaranteed contracts. Instead of relying solely on performance bonuses, athletes would know what they were earning before stepping onto the track. That concept appealed to many. It suggested professionalism and predictability. But building a new sports league is extraordinarily expensive. Venue costs, broadcast production, marketing, staffing, travel, prize purses, and insurance add up quickly. Without deep and sustained investor backing, even a promising model can falter. Reports indicate that Grand Slam track struggled with revenue generation during its debut season. Sponsorship commitments did not fully match projections. Broadcast deals may not have delivered expected returns. Operational expenses mounted. Cash flow tightened. By the time the season concluded, the financial gap was too large to ignore. Chapter 11 bankruptcy does not automatically mean failure. It is designed to allow businesses to reorganize and continue operating while restructuring debt. But it does signal that the original financial model did not hold. The new injection of $6.2 million is more than symbolic. It demonstrates that Johnson and his partners are willing to put additional capital at risk to salvage the project. Allocating $6 million specifically to athletes sends a clear message about priorities. Yet questions remain. Will sponsors return after witnessing a bankruptcy filing? Will broadcasters invest in a product that stumbled in year one? Will athletes sign contracts again without stronger guarantees? Trust in professional sports is fragile. Once broken, it requires consistent action to rebuild. The math of the recovery plan is being closely examined. Total promised athlete compensation was $14 million. Approximately half had already been paid before the crisis escalated. The remaining $7 million represents the unpaid balance. By directing $6 million toward that amount, the league proposes an 85% recovery on what remains outstanding. When combined with earlier payments, the total reaches $13 million, recovered out of $14 million promised. That leaves a gap, but not a devastating one compared to many bankruptcies in professional sports. For comparison, numerous failed leagues in other sports have left athletes with far smaller recovery percentages. Some have received pennies on the dollar. In that context, 92.9% overall recovery appears strong. Still, the missed timelines matter. Athletes plan their financial lives around predictable income. Even a temporary shortfall can create strain. Michael Johnson's personal reputation is intertwined with the outcome. As an athlete, he symbolized excellence and professionalism. His Olympic victories in Atlanta and Sydney are etched into track history. Transitioning from elite competitor to sports executive is never simple. The skills required to dominate on the track differ from those needed to manage cash flow, investor relations, and operational logistics. Johnson's decision to remain involved and help fund the restructuring suggests belief in the original vision. It also places his legacy at stake. If Grand Slam track successfully reorganizes and returns stronger, it could become a case study in resilience. If it collapses again, the narrative will be far harsher. The broader sport of track and field needs stability. Athletes deserve reliable income streams. Fans crave consistent competition featuring top stars facing each other more frequently. Sponsors seek platforms that provide visibility and professionalism. Grand Slam track tried to change the sport, but money problems brought it down. Now everything depends on the next few months. Creditors must vote, the court must approve the plan, and World Athletics must decide if the league can return. If the plan passes, a 2026 season could happen, maybe smaller and more careful. If it fails, the league could shut down completely. Athletes just want to be paid what they were promised. Michael Johnson wants to prove the idea can still work. Right now, there is hope, but also doubt. It all comes down to one thing: trust. The sport is waiting to see what happens next.